First of all, thank you for your willingness to run, your willingness to serve. We have a brief list of questions. The other candidates will all get the same questions. That's why you're not listening to their answers. And the first one is simply, what is a true conservative in your point of view, and what differentiates you perhaps in terms of conservatism? Please have a seat and be comfortable.
Do you mind if I stand? Does that bother anyone?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Sit down. Okay. She's the boss. When Cindy says sit, I sit. I don't know if anyone's heard yet or not, but I just read in the newspaper today that Harris County, the district attorney, cleared Planned Parenthood of all charges. And to make matters worse, they charged the accusers. In Isaiah, it talks about in these times that they'll call good evil and evil good. That's the kind of thing that really frustrates me. We've killed over 58 million new innocent unborn babies since 1973 legally. That's 20 times more than all of the wars the United States have been involved in put together. I was born in 1974, and I tell you from the sincerest of my heart that has bothered me my entire life. I have never, ever gotten comfortable with abortion. We have to do something about it. We have to stand up and fight for what's right. And so when you talk about a true conservative, I love Sam Johnson. I do. I sincerely do. I am extremely thankful for what he's done in the military. He's a war hero. And everything that he's done in Washington, we've named a highway after him, and I'm thankful for that. But we have to demand more out of our Congress. The Heritage Action, together with the Freedom Index, two scorecards that I really like, if you average those for the 113th session of Congress, Sam Johnson scores a 68%, his voting record. John Cornyn scored a 77%. Ted Cruz scored a 92%. We have to demand more out of our congressmen. We have to. And that's why I'm running. So if you want a true leadership, then you have to look at the scorecards. We just talked about action is what really matters, and you can see action through scorecard. Another thing with conservative, and I mean this sincerely, I know there's mostly candidates in here, so I'm going to talk to candidates as well, is we have to be careful who we endorse. We don't endorse people that we love. We have to endorse people that have a good voting record. When we endorse someone, that means we endorse their voting record. So with all due respect, I'll probably get thrown out of the room for this, but if you are endorsing Sam Johnson, that means you are endorsing a 68% voting record. That means you need to also endorse John Cornyn. You need to also endorse people like Marco Rubio, who has an 81% voting record. We have to endorse, we have to vote, we have to support for not people that we just love, but for people that are doing what we need to get done in Washington. And that's how you determine a true conservative, is when you stand up like I'm doing, and you say something that's not popular, but it's right. And everybody knows it's right, and that's how you determine a true conservative.
Okay, you've already tackled this question. Anything you would add as to why you're running? Why in the world would you give up your personal life and do this?
That's right. I'll be honest with you, this isn't very manly of me, but I've spent some nights crying over murdering children. And that's not it. I just mentioned that because that's a big one. But the marriage. It frustrates me. I'm born and raised in a community, ranchers and farmers, and land management is a mess. The federal government is breaking the U.S. Constitution over and over and over, and has been for a long time. They have no constitutional right, Article 1, Section 8, further clarified by Amendment 10. They have no right to be inside the states for things that are specifically enumerated. Marriage, abortion, the way we handle prayer in public places is not enumerated in the Constitution. Therefore, they have no right to be within our states. Healthcare, education, welfare, land management are not specifically identified in the U.S. Constitution. Therefore, they need to stay out of those areas. The one constitutional obligation they have is securing our border. That really, really frustrates me. The sex trafficking, the drug traffic, the crime. Plus, it costs us $13 billion. The state of Texas alone costs $13 billion annually because of an open border. We have to hold the federal government accountable for that. And a 68% voting record is not getting it done. And that's why I'm running. That's why I'm doing something that's not popular. I've sat here, I'm not a career politician, I'm a citizen just like most of you. I've sat here and watched this over and over. I've begged and I've prayed that someone will get in and do the right thing, and it hasn't happened. And so finally I felt like the answer is I have to try and do something. And that's why I stood up and do everything I can to try and make this change. We have to get Washington out of the state of Texas, both financially and morally, and we have to demand and make them secure our border as our highest priorities.
Okay, beyond the passion for why you're running, tell us about your qualifications, if you would.
That's a good question. My two highest priorities, which I think make me more qualified than anything else, but we're going to talk about qualifications as well. My two highest priorities is keeping God in this country and upholding and defending the U.S. Constitution. That's all I care about. Every decision I make, every pamphlet we write, everything we put on the website, every question I answer has to do with how can we make sure God stays in this country, and how can we make sure we uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution. I will not compromise on those things. When I get elected to be your congressman, I'm going to put my hand on the Bible, and I'm going to swear to God to uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution. I don't want to go to hell, and I don't want to go to jail. And if I break that oath, I'll do both. And I'm not going to break that oath. I think that makes me more qualified than anything else. That's really all that matters. If you have somebody that's smart, that's capable, that's a leader, and is fully and totally committed to integrity, to doing what we say. I have a lifetime of proving that, of sticking up for what I believe in. I'm a certified public accountant. I got a master's degree from Brigham Young University, which touts in some polls, the #1 accounting program in the nation. I went and worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers for 10 years, both internationally and domestically, in private equity, real estate, and international markets. I left there about 6 years ago, started my own company, and in 2008, when I left, the economy was terrible. The only thing that was performing was healthcare, and so we went into healthcare. Dental offices, orthodontic offices, chiropractor, health and wellness. I got lucky, I got blessed, I worked hard, and we retired 2 or 3 years ago. So my wife and I sat down and said, how can we use everything we've been blessed with? My skill set, my leadership, our resources, our time, to make something happen for the greater good. And we felt unequivocally the right thing for us was to run for Congress. That's 9 minutes already? Oh, good.
2 minutes remaining. Very quickly, you're confronted with a bill in Congress, and tied to that bill is federal dollars going to Planned Parenthood. It's a bill that's your highest priority, the primary part of the bill. What do you do?
Look, the first thing we're going to do when we get into Congress, you can see this on our website, is we're going to pass 2 bills. The first bill is we're going to put a bill through that says that nothing can be discussed on the House or the floor. It has to pass the constitutional test first, or it can't even be discussed. And here's the cool thing. If anybody votes against that bill, we can impeach them for not holding up their oath of office, because they made an oath to uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution. So if they vote against that bill, then they're going to be impeached. And so they have to vote yes. And now when you have a constitutional bill, that bill can't even be presented, because Planned Parenthood is, one, does abortion, which is unconstitutional, but worse than that is it's health care, right? Even if you're a liberal that really supports Planned Parenthood, you can't argue that it's not health care. And the federal government has no constitutional authority to be involved in our health care. Therefore, that bill can't even be presented, because we've already passed the bill that says you can't discuss something that's not constitutional. The second bill we're going to pass, I want to work with the Liberty Institute to pass a bill that will get God safe harbor in the United States of America. How much longer is God going to allow us to practice the wickedness that we practice in the country and not lose this country? How much longer? In 1973, this country approved abortion. And us and all of us, we've done nothing about it. And now 58 million murders later, how much longer is it going to let it go? We have to stick up for him. We have to pass legislation that keeps him in America.
Very limited time. We apologize.
No.
We'd love to go deeper, but please stay afterwards if you're willing. There'll be a lot of folks milling around outside, and you'll have the opportunity to take more questions. Is there a question from the audience quickly? Yes, ma'am. Would you commit to only 2 terms in office?
I made several pledges on my website. One pledge is I will not stay longer than 8 years, and I will train someone to take my place that's as conservative as I am to leave. Another pledge I made is that I will not I'm financially doing my own campaign so that I'm not persuaded by outside resources. And there's several other pledges on my website that you like. I won't use any money for personal consumption. Any money that the U.S. government gives me as a congressman, I will use it to further the causes that we believe in right here in this room, rather than personal consumption.
And one final 20-second question and answer. Has there ever been a time, I'll ask this one. Has there ever been a time when you were asked to compromise integrity in business or elsewhere?
Look, I'm a Christian, true blue through and through. Plus, I'm a big-time football player. I played cornerback at Brigham Young University. I've played football my whole life. I'm from a big football family. And believe me, that is not an environment that does well with Christianity. I've spent my entire life sticking up for Christian principles, no matter what. I stick up for what I believe in. I have a 41-year record that's standing up for what I believe in. I can promise you with full confidence that if you can get me to Washington, I will stand up for the things that we believe in no matter what.
John Slavens, thank you so much for your time. Please stand up. He asked for 5 seconds more.
Hey, yeah,
And we did 5 seconds on the clock.
Okay,
Just kidding.
just 5 seconds is, there's so much more to talk about. So much more. Please set up a meet and greet. Please, if you like anything I talked about, take one of those signs home. There's 20 signs here. Please, I'm begging you, take one of those signs, put it in your yard, watch a 3-minute video of me on my website, go to our Facebook, set up a meet and greet where we can talk about lots of really, really important issues. There's tons to talk about.